Return of the Mount Hua sect. This! Teeth clenched hard enough to shatter at any moment. Fists tight enough to draw dark red blood. Trembles and convulsions that couldn't be controlled. Anger. Anger enough to turn his hair white. Red. Everything was red. Everything before his eyes was stained scarlet with blood. The lush green mountain peak was stained blood red. Its very nature was swept away in a single day. Death. All that was left was death. What purpose did all this bloodshed serve? Chungmyung clawed at the hilt of the sword, embedded in his shoulder, drawing out the broken length of the plum blossom sword. His left arm was gone. Only the torn scraps of his sleeve flapped in the wind. His legs were unwounded, yet he could barely move. His stomach gaped open with a hole the size of an infant's head. And yet Chungmyung couldn't feel the pain. The pain of his body was nothing compared to the turmoil in his heart. 장문사형. He discovered the discarded corpse of the sect leader of Mount Hua. Why was it so unfair? Why were the dead unable to even close their eyes? Saje. Saje Chonggong's bisected body part haunted him. Everyone was dead. Sajils. All of Mount Hua's best and brightest, who had promised to climb the mountain together, to safeguard their territory, to spread their names far and wide, had departed to a place from which they could not return, and their sajils followed them. Chongmyong clenched his teeth. Theirs was a noble sacrifice. Their death was just and glorious. But who would dare praise their deaths? Who would dare? Chongmyong's gaze locked on to the perpetrator, the one who had roused his unfathomable rage. The demon from the skies, the leader of the heavenly demon sect, the heavenly demon. The sight of this despicable man sat cross-legged in the sea of blood and gore evoked strange emotions in Chongmyong. Even in this hellish scene, the heavenly demon appeared supremely serene. No, serenity didn't suit him now. Dozens of swords pierced his body and 2 spears pierced his stomach. Everyone had spent their lives to topple that demon. The battle between the final squad, consisting only of the elite of the sects and the heavenly demon, ended in annihilation. Was it satisfactory? Would the dead rest peacefully? They would not. Even if they did, Chongmyong couldn't. It took everything he had left to stop the rage from stealing his rationality. The heavenly demon's pale, empty eyes opened to gaze into the blue sky. Sect Mount Hua. 3 words spilled from his lips. The words eternally inscribed on Chongmyong's heart now emerged from the demon's mouth. How unfortunate, disciple of Mount Hua. If only you could get out of here. You could boast of your achievements. Shut your disgusting mouth! You can still be proud of your actions. With the help of countless people, your sword finally reached my body. Shut up! Chongmyong's stomach churned just from hearing the name of his sect from that wretched mouth. How unfortunate. The heavenly demon was dying. Even as the greatest demon in all of time, he cannot survive his danjeon breaking and his organs being ruined. Terminal lucidity. His appearance was nothing more than his last gasps of life. But why? Why did the dying man seem so relaxed? Chunma was incomprehensible to Chongmyong. If I were given just one more day, I would have truly become a being worthy of the name Heavenly Demon. This is fate as well. Chongmyong gripped the sword he pulled out of his shoulder. The sharply forged blade cut his palm. 1 step. Another step. At the end of a long and terrible war, Chongmyong limped towards the heavenly demon. Remember this, disciple of Mount Hua. Chunma's eyes seemed devoid of emotion, even as Chongmyong approached. This is not the end. The demons will return, and when that happens, the world will be conquered by the demons. The demons can never be stopped. The heavenly demon's head fell to the ground. Chongmyong crushed the head of the heavenly demon, eyes still open. It's... The war was over. The world would remember their victory. But Chongmyong knew there was no victory here. No one won this war. Finally, Chongmyung no longer had the strength to stand. His inevitable death was coming. Chongmyung raised his head to the sky. Even after such bloodshed, the sky was still blue, as if indifferent to the happenings of Earth. What will happen to the Mount Hua sect? Everyone who climbed the mountain was dead. Even if anyone had survived, they were probably on their last breaths. No clan had suffered as much as Mount Hua. Jungmun Seong, I told you, don't give your all in every task, he'd said. Now, Mount Hua would be buried on this mountain. All the disciples had followed their masters to death. All that was left were the children who knew nothing about Mount Hua. And regret. It was regret. Was there any meaning to what happened? Did the spilled blood of Mount Hua mean anything? I don't know anymore. Jungmun-sa. Chongmyung fell onto his side. His pure white robes, painted with a 5-leaf plum blossom, splayed out before his eyes. Innocent death. A lonely end with no witnesses. The great plum blossom sword saint of Mount Hua was dying like a dog. But your death was better than mine. Because there was someone to weep for you. Chongmyung wept for them. I'm sorry, Jungmun Sahyong. Chongmyung's vision faded. If he had devoted a little more of his time to training, would he have been able to save at least one person? If he had listened to his teachers and their scolding? If he had truly obtained the Mount Hua sword instead of the plum blossom sword? No regrets. But it was all regret. All he had left was regrets. And worries for the sect. Plum blossoms are meant to fall, and after the cold winter comes spring. Mount Hua. The 13th disciple of the great Mount Hua sect, the plum blossom sword saint Chongmyung, who slayed the heavenly demon at the summit of the 100,000 mountains of the heavenly demon sect, drifted into eternal sleep. This short anecdote was his only legacy.